talk about variables, we'll talk about how to create classes, objects, what are objects, okay, what are functions, all these things. So these are the basics of any programming language, okay. So this is, we're going to cover, this might take 2 classes max. So we'll cover this one. And then we will go ahead and talk about a little more advanced, like we talk about triggers, what are triggers, how to test the triggers, and then we will talk about visualforce, what is a visualforce page, how to write a visualforce page. Ravi, do you know all the visualforce components, like all the tags and everything?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so we'll create visualforce, and then we will and from there, and then we'll have all the REST APIs. This is basically the syllabus. The visualforce, we have controller, custom controller, and everything. And then we REST APIs. After this basics have been done, or after this whole Apex is done, I will also be adding what you call as we're going to create a project, okay, which includes everything. A little bit here and there, which includes triggers, which include how to test triggers, how to write visualforce page. So it will create, it'll have, this project will have everything. Okay, so you'll get a total glimpse of how to use that in a whole application. So this is going to be the whole course that we're going to do. We'll start with the basics, then we'll move to the little advanced. We'll take each topic as one, and then we'll work on it. And then at the end, once we are familiar with everything, we'll create a one project which covers all these concepts. Okay, this is going to be the agenda. So the next thing is, with that, I'm going to start. What is programming? Okay. Now, what is a programming language, guys? What is a programming language?
The language is used to create some page or something. Not to understand. Language between a human and a system, which makes the system understand, right?
Very good. And that's basically, you read my course. I'm good. Okay. So what is a programming language? Programming language is a language to talk to computers. Okay. So, but computers only understand binary language. Remember, we used to do in school 0101, right? If you wanted to send information, want to store 4 in the memory, you will store probably like this 100. That's how you're going to store. If you want to store 511, so this is how. This is a binary language. Okay, computer only understands binary language. If you remember, you know how to convert a number to a binary number. So if I want to convert number 16 to binary, you know it's 124848. Is it 16? Right? So 10000. Because that switch will become on. If I wanted to store 17, this switch will become on and this will become on. So 1, 1, and then rest of them will become 0. So this is how the information gets translated into a binary language. Okay. So computer only understands binary language, and as a human beings, we are not comfortable with that with the numbers, right? Because let's say if I ask you how many friends you have and tell me the names, you'll be probably able to tell me the names of all your friends. But if I ask you, tell me their phone numbers, you're going to probably look at your phone and give me the numbers, right? Because you're not that comfortable, as a human brain, we're not that comfortable with the numbers. So that's why we wanted something that we are comfortable with. And but computers only know binary language. So then their concept came. Then the languages evolved. We started with assembly language, machine language, and all those. And then there is the concept of high-level language came. Now, what is these high-level languages? These are like C is a high level. Then we have Java is there, C++ is there. So these are the high-level languages that came. Now, high-level language is a language which is very similar to learning an English language. Okay, I don't know why people get scared, but high-level language is a language which is very similar to learning an English language. Okay, and then what happens is these high-level languages, or the English-like languages, gets converted at the back end using a product called assembler or a compiler into a machine language, or we can say binary language. Okay, so we code in our language that makes easy for us to understand, which is English, and then assembler converts into a language which computer is easy to understand. So both of them are able to it's a win-win situation for as a programmer and as well as you. Okay, so that's why the concept of high-level languages came. Now these high-level languages, I told you it's very similar to learning an English language, and I'll tell you why it is very similar to learning an English language. One of the reason is in English you have alphabets, right? You start with alphabets. You have A, B, C, etc. That's the first thing when you want to learn English. You talk about these, right? And then a combination of these alphabets, what you make them as word, right? And when you, let's say with ABC you make ball, okay, then boy, girl, etc. And then the combination of words make sentences, okay? And then let's say he's playing, so that's a sentence. And combination of these sentences make a particular paragraph, or you can, so that's basically the whole thing here. Now you can relate the same thing with the programming language. What you can do here is, in any programming language, you have these small things. We include alphabets, okay? Then we have is alphabets, then we have is digits are also there, like 0 to 9, and then we have special symbols, @ percentage, quotation mark, all these are special symbols. So in programming language we have these, the building blocks are these alphabets, digits, or symbols. Combination of these makes what we call them as keyword. Okay, we call them as keywords, excuse me, constants and variables.
Excuse me, Deepika.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting some problem with keywords. Go ahead.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, like the disturbance is like striking and all.
Okay, how about
Sometimes
Ravi?
your voice is struggling.
Really?
Same here.
How's usually your internet is? Because I took a batch before and I didn't have that complaint.
Mine is pretty fast, 250 Mbps.
Okay, so I don't know. Is it okay now, or is it still like going back and forth? Let me mute you guys. Okay, if you want to talk, then it'll be, you can unmute yourself and you can talk, or you can send me a message here on the chat. Now, how is it okay now?
Okay.
How about this? Is it okay?
Okay.
It's good? Okay, and keep yourself mute. So if you want to chat, you can chat. I'll reply to you, or otherwise you unmute yourself and talk. Okay? And let me know if you have still the issue. Do you want me to repeat something? Do you want me to repeat this whole diagram? Okay, so now what I was saying was, so this one, so we have these alphabets, keywords, and then the combination of these, so we have keywords, constants, and variables. Okay, so we have these three things. Alphabets, digits, and symbols we use in programming language. Alphabets A to Z, digits 0 to 9, symbols can be @ percentage, etc., etc. And we use them and we make keywords, we make constants, and we make variables. Combination of these we make is called instructions. These are instructions, okay? And combination of those instructions makes a program. And program is something that does something. Okay, let's say when I want how to make tea. So tea, the first step will be those are instructions, right? Take water, put it on the gas. Third step, put tea in it, put sugar in. So those are 4 or 5 instructions. And combination of that instruction gives you a cup of tea. So at the end, program is going to. Now the next thing here is, so now what is a keyword, what is a constant, and what is a variable? So let's talk about that. Keywords, we'll start with variables, sorry. What is a variable? Variable is the computer memory is divided into different blocks, right? Just like your brains, you have different wires in it. Similarly, in the computer memory is made up of different blocks. Okay, now let's say you guys have used calculator, right? So if let's say what you do is when you wanted to add 2 numbers, what you do is you'd say 12 plus 17, right? So you have it number 1 and number 2, right? So now what in memory you need 2 places to store these numbers. Am I right? You need 2 places to store these numbers. This is 1 and this is 2. So let's say in my memory block, the computer blocks, each of them has an address, right? This whole block of memory, each of them has an address. Let's say this is XX1, this is XX2, XX3. This is like the memory location. Okay. Let's say in x61 we have number 12, and in this particular memory location we have number 17. What is a variable? Variable is nothing but the name of this memory location. So in algebra, what we used to do, we used to say a is equals to 12, b is equals to 17. What is a plus b? So what you used to do is, okay, 12 plus 17. So where is this a? A is basically we have kind of, instead of putting x61 as the memory address and remembering that, then what we said, okay, in the A memory, in the A we have 12 number. And in B we are putting C and 17 in it. This is what we are doing. Why is it called a memory? Why is it called a variable? Because tomorrow you can go ahead and make A is pointing to 12 today. A can go ahead and point to 14 tomorrow. So now this A will have 14 in it instead of 12. So that it keeps on varying. That's why it is called a variable. Okay, it's a name of a memory location. It stores something. Okay, so this is A is what? It's a placeholder where you put a value. Okay, now there might be different kinds of data that you deal with in everyday life, right? There might be a number, there will be a string. String is basically you want to store somebody's name. Okay, Deepika, that's a name. You wanted to store somebody's phone number, so that's another phone number is another data. You might be store a large number. Let's say what is the distance between Earth and Sun? Okay, so what's it? That's a large number. If you wanted to store somebody's like a desk, like okay, if I wanted to ask what is your weight, so you might say 57.8 pounds. Okay, so that's something we can say. That's basically nothing but that's a floating number or a decimal number, right? So there are different kinds of data that we deal with, and based on that we have different data types. Okay, we have something called as data types. Now what is the data type? Data type is nothing but we call it as type of data. That's what the data type is. That's called as the type of data. So here, let's say we first of all let's say we have a variable called x. It has a number 10 in it. Okay. So what is it? We have to store information number 10. So that's it. That's another data. Let's say we want to store somebody's name. So this is, let's say we are storing another variable called b and it has a name. And let's say we wanted to store somebody's phone number. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a big number. So this is another variable we created to store this number. Now there are different kinds of data. There's different kind of information. So anything with this in double quotes, we call it as string. Okay, this is a text. Okay, text can have numbers also. So and if I put 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I put it in double quotes, that's still a string. It's not still called a number. Anything in Apex, if you put it inside double quote, that becomes a string. Okay, so we have the single quotes here. We have, instead of double quotes, we put it single quotes.
Single quote.
It's single quote, so it's a string.
Yeah.
It says A is equals to Debug. Here it's going to be single quotes. Okay, this is how you store. So this is how you store a string here. Anything in single quotes is a string. Okay, even if you store a number, it is still called as a string. So if I store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can't say it's a number. It's a string because it's in single quotes. Okay. Next thing is, if I wanted to store anything in a number, if I wanted to store, I have to provide the data type. So data type will become integer. So Salesforce or Apex has a lot of data types. We have string to store a text thing. We have an integer to store a particular what you call as like a number, and we have double to store a decimal number. Okay, then we have something called as Boolean. We have something called as Boolean. Boolean is what? These are different data types. Okay, Boolean is what? Boolean is nothing but to store a true or false. That's what we call it as a Boolean. Okay, so we have string, we have integer, we have double, we have Boolean. Boolean is to store true or false. If I wanted to store, are you going for a movie? Yes or no. So that is what we needed, is true or false. Okay, then we have something called as, if you wanted to store a date, I wanted to know, okay, when is your birthday? So that something is a date, right? It is not a string. Yeah, you can put it as a string. You can say January 12th, whatever. Okay, that's a date. You can make it as a string, but it's a date. So there is a data type if you wanted to store a date. So that is called as a date data type. Okay, so we have a date data type. Now, if you wanted to store a time, then you also have a time data type. I want to, so what time is it? Okay, 5:45. So that's a time. Okay, you have a data type to store a time. If you want to store date and time both, then there is a data type called date time. In Apex, whenever you wanted to use, let's say if I tell you, write a program to add two numbers. So what will be the first step you have to think? You have to think, okay, I need two numbers. Okay, that means I need two placeholders, means I need to store those two numbers, so I need two variables. Okay, that will be your first thought in your mind. Okay, I need two variables because those two numbers has to be stored in a variable. Okay, then I say, okay, now what I need? Okay, she's talking about numbers. Okay, so will be the data type? The data type will be integer. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and store two integers, so that you're going to define two variables with the type is integer. So every time you need a variable, every time you need something to store, you have to define it what type it is. Okay, what type of it. So you have to say integer. This is how you define a variable or declare a variable. Okay, so this is the syntax to declare a variable. What is syntax? Syntax means it's like you can say how to write it. That's what. There's a set of instructions, there's a set of rules that you have to follow whenever you are creating a variable. So what is a variable? Variable is nothing where it is used to store some value. Okay, what type of value it is, that is called as the data type. Okay, and whenever you want to use a variable, you need to declare it. Okay, whenever you have to use a variable, you need to declare a variable. Okay, declare a variable. How you declare it? You first tell what is the type of the variable. So that is what the type is going to be. Is it an integer? Is it a string? Is it a boolean? Is it a date? Is it a time? Is it a date time? You have to specify what variable it is. Okay?
Phone number will be string, right?
Phone number will be a string. Yeah. If you want to write it. Okay. So if you want to, you can write it as a string. Okay. Date time. Do you want to store it as a float, like a decimal number? So you have to specify. Then you have to specify the name of the variable. Okay. Then you have to specify the name of the variable. And then you have something called as float or double. There's double is for decimal. If you wanted to store in a decimal point, you call it as a double. Okay. Name, that is what is it. Okay. If I wanted to store name, so I will say string, that is the type of the variable. Name is equals to Deepika. So Deepika is the name. Okay. That's what it is. Now let's say if I wanted to store two numbers, so I'll say integer. The variable name should be like explanatory. Number 1 is 15. Integer number 2 is 16, let's say. So if I say number 1 plus number 2, then it will be 15 plus 16. Okay. You store what we have, then you have to define as what is the type, then the name, and then what is the value. This is called as the assignment operator. Equal to is called as the assignment operator. And let's say integer, and then let's say 15. So what assignment operator puts is anything is on the right, it puts it to the thing in left. So 15 goes into name. This is what the assignment operator does. This is equals to, okay, this is called assignment operator. Anything on the right goes to the left. Okay, that's what this is going to do. Are you comfortable with what it is? Then there is another one that is called enums. Now what is enums? This is another data type, enums. Enums is, let's say, if you have a specific values to store. Let's say, okay, what is the, how many seasons are there? How many season in a year? So you have spring, there's specific values, right? Spring, winter, summer, autumn, etc. So these are the fixed values. So these are called enums. Enums are nothing but they are set of constants. Okay, this is the constant, spring, winter, summer. In define, they are different, like we call them as strings, but they are actually there's some set of values. Okay, so that is called as enum. Okay, that's called as enum. For example, if you want to store, okay, what is the status of a particular position? So it can be in progress. Let's say about its sport ticket. Let's say it's in progress, working, or we can say closed, cancel. These are specific constants, right? So then we use enums. So what is your requirement? Based on that, you have these things. Okay.
How will we define this variable in this variable?
So what is it? What is it? How will you define this variable?
Yes.
Okay, very good question. So you will say enum season Let's say this is the season. Let's say that's the name of, this is the name of the variable. Okay, enum is the data type. You can put whatever the name is. This is the name, let's say. And what are those constants? So you will define like this: winter, spring, summer, and fall, let's say.
Okay.
Okay, this is how you're going to define an enum. Okay, so now what if you wanted to use it? Let's say if you wanted to use it, so how are you going to use? You're going to say season dot winter. So what will happen is this particular will have winter value in it. Okay, season dot of spring, so that will go for spring in it. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are nothing but the different kinds of values are there in a particular, how to store those values. Okay, so now let's say we wanted to write a simple program, okay, to use the variable. Let's say we wanted to do a simple program to use the variable. So what I'm going to do is I'll go and log into a developer's account. Okay, so first of all I'll go to login.salesforce.com and let's say go to code team. Now let me go to the other one. There's something called as developer console. Okay, so you need to go to the developer console if you wanted to access. You can, okay, Ravi, what kind of ID you guys use at workplace?
Force Eclipse.
So you use Force Eclipse. Okay, so have you ever tried this one?
Yes, I know. I usually do in this developer console.
Yeah.
Because it shows me errors instantly, right? So in Force, everyone use offline and they just save it. So I can't do that because I'm very new and I don't know anything. It's in developer console, easy for me.
Okay, so I prefer developer console as well, especially for classes. So what we have to do is, so let's say this is how you have to go to developer console. If you, by any chance, you just want to make sure the development mode is open. Okay, so how to do access the development modes? You go here, you go to the My Settings. Okay, and then there is something called as the personal, go to the advanced settings. And there is a place called development mode here. Okay, whenever you wanted to write anything in, like create a visualforce or anything, I'll tell you what visualforce is and all that. So here, this is what the development mode is going to be. Okay, this is what you have to click on, this checkbox, and then you're able to develop code. Okay, so this is the first thing. You go there and you type in developer console. Now how does the whole application works? So what happens, guys, is you as a user, every application you can break into these pieces. Okay, so pieces is like these. So let's say whenever you use a web page, right? If you let's say you wanted to go ahead and register yourself for a cricket match. Okay, so what you will do first thing is you will go, tell me what you do. So if you, let's say you wanted to go ahead and register, buy tickets for cricket match. So what you do? What is your step? Tell me. What do you do? First thing, what you do?
Login. We'll just go to that website.
Very good. You'll go to the website. Who is it? Is it Abhinav or is it Ravi?
It's me, Ravi.
Okay. So you go to the website then.
Then we'll search for the location or something where the cricket match is there. And
Okay.
we'll select.
Yeah. Keep going.
And we'll pay the amount.
They're gonna ask you your details, right?
They'll ask us my details.
There will be a form pop up, right? They will be like, okay, enter your details, first name, last name. Then there will be a credit card. They'll ask you what is your credit card information, right?
Yes.
And then there will be a buy now button.
Yes.
Exactly. This is exactly happens when you go to Amazon also. You give your details, you buy, select the product, you enter the details, you check out, and then you buy it. Okay?
Yeah.
Everything can be related like this. So what happens is, first thing is called the UI. Okay, user interface, that's called UI. You will see these short forms a lot, UI. Okay, that's the view. What the customer or what any human being is going to see is the UI. Okay, that is written in a language called visualforce. In Salesforce, we write those UI pages in visualforce. Okay, the front end pages. People will call it front end. Yeah, go ahead.
Visualforce, or they will include that Java and everything as well?
Come again, what is it?
I mean, is that only a Visualforce, or does it have any other technology, I mean,
Yeah, you can
implemented in
have
that visual?
JavaScript. There are a lot of scripting languages. They have the JavaScript can be there inside of visualforce. But visualforce, the main logic of this visualforce is just for the view purpose. It does not do any logic behind it. It's just for the display. What you see here, let's say you wanted to, whenever user select a button, you wanted to go to the next page. That's all UI. There's no business logic involved. There's no coding. There's no like a Java or anything. That's more of like a scripting, JavaScript. Okay, so
Is
now
there any validation and everything in
yeah,
Visualforce?
you can do validations as well. There's JavaScript, you can have a JavaScript and you can do validation. That's what is validation is basically, see, you wanted to save the server. So let's say what happens actually is, let me explain you. You have a UI. Okay, you have this is as a front page. Okay, so let's say you submitted a form, name, and then first name, last name, age, etc. Okay, you submitted this form, you entered the details, and there is a submit button here. And what happens actually is you hit the submit button, it goes to your backend, which is nothing but a server. It goes to the server. Now what is a server? Server is nothing but it's a computer which runs 24/7 and supplies you different stuff. Okay, it's this where the application is deployed. You can think like a machine. So you hit the submit button, it goes to the server. So this is a network call. Means there is a, so you live in what you see is on the browser, right? That's the form is on your machine. And then when you hit the submit button, it transfers the data across the internet and it sends it to this server. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Okay. Abhinav, you just joined. Do you want me to repeat anything?
No, it's not Abhinav, it's Priya.
Okay. Okay. So here, so what happens? So this is how the things work. So you have a UI, you submit a form, you write your information. Now what validation does is, validation is nothing but, see, you wanted to save your network calls, right? You wanted to have less information. You wanted to basically save network calls. You don't want to send every time if somebody enters a name and you don't want to call, hey, tell me is this a valid name or not. No, you don't want to do that. You wanted to make sure that everything happens on this browser so you can save your network calls. You know what I'm saying? Because more the network calls, more there will be stress on your server and more server is going to deal with small requests. You don't want to do that, right? What you want to do is you want to take care of a lot of stuff on the front end itself, on the UI, on the browser itself to save the network call. So that is what validation comes into picture. Validation is basically happening on the browser, on this UI itself where you're running the program. So you go to the website opens on you enter your name. Okay, if you're entering some wrong name, it will right away tell you to enter the right name. Or if you're not providing because you don't want something to go here and then it say, oh, your name is not right. So then you're going to send it again. You don't want to do that. Let's say you entered a wrong age. You don't want to make a network call, then server checks it and then returns you back because there are too many network calls going on. You don't want to do that. So you want to save it. So you do the validations on the front end itself. Okay. Then you write it in the UI, so you fill up the form. Then what happens is you take that information and it goes through the internet to the server. Okay, and in the business logic you will say, right, okay, store the name in a table. So everything actually goes into the database. Okay, so if let's say you bought 4 tickets. Okay, you bought 4 tickets and if say there's a discount going on, if you buy 4 tickets, you get a 10% discount. So that logic is written here. Okay, so you go here, you say, okay, this person bought 4 tickets. Okay, my business logic says number of tickets is 4, give him 10% discount. Okay, that logic is written here. Once you get the discount, that information gets stored in the database. So this is where the apex comes into picture, the business logic. The UI is visualforce. Okay, there's a lot of other technology, JavaScript is visualforce and all that kind of stuff. Okay, this is visualforce is this one, and then you have apex, which is basically the business. Now you understand what is visualforce and what is apex. What is the purpose of apex and what is the purpose of visualforce? Visualforce is just to write your pages to the UI. It does not do any logic. It's just to make your page look beautiful. Okay, that's what the UI. It does not have any brain. Okay, you can only, maximum you can do is validation, you can do some map and all those kind of things, but actually the logic behind your whole thing, when you hit the submit button, let's say you entered your credit card information, authorization, you wanted to authorize the credit card or you want to see the right credit card, that all is your business logic, and that is written in Apex. Okay, so user sees visualforce, sorry, the UI, whatever the UI, and then once you hit the submit button or once there is an action involved or you hit the link or anything, it goes and make a server call, and that's where the logic is written, and everything actually stores in the database. And when you pull up something, what happens is when you wanted to save, when you wanted to reflect something back to the UI, what you do is you read information back from the database, you send it back to the visualforce, and that's how you display it here. That's it. Those are the REST calls that you do. Okay, from here to here, you send an API. There's an API that basically calls the logic here, and then it returns the information. This is any application in the world. You can put it in this. You can divide it into this. Front end, this is called the front end. This is the middle level messaging, emails, all that. And then this is the back end, or we also call it server side. This is client side, this is server side. Client side means the things that happen at the client. Okay. See, guys, these are the terminologies you need to remember, because anytime you can fake that you because these are the technologies you'll only learn when you have a real-time experience. So whatever the technologies and terminologies, sorry, I'm talking, you need to understand, and you try to use that as many times in your interview. Okay, client, server, back end, front end, all these kind of stuff. Okay, these are the very cool terms that everyone talks about. Okay, so this is visualforce. You write the pages, the UI pages is written in visualforce, and then you, whatever the information, it goes over the network, and then you process it in the server or on your business logic, which is written in Apex programming language, and that everything information is basically stored in the database at the end. Okay, the end everything has to go to the database. That's the thing. But you can't everyone to know SQL queries. The shortcut would be like everyone in the world knows SQL query, and they'll say insert into cricket account table and so and so. No one knows about it. So you make it a little more UI based. People can know, okay, I have to fill information, okay, and then all the thing has to go to the database. Did it make sense why you're doing and what are you doing? Did this give you a good picture of what backend is, what front end is, what server is, what UI is, what visualforce is, what Apex is?
Yeah.
Abhinav, Priyanka?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a very simple example using the variables. Okay, and then I'm thinking pretty much I'm going to wrap it up. So what is going to start with is, let's say, first thing is you need to go ahead and go to the developer console and open this anonymous window. Okay. So let's say if I tell you, give me sum of two numbers. So what are you going to say? What do we need first thing? What is the first thing that we will need here? Two values. So what I need is two variables, right? Two variables. Very good. So I'm going to store integer A is equals to 10. Okay. Integer B, let's say, is equals to 20. Okay. And then let's say I wanted to also store the result. Let's say I wanted to store the result. So guys, can you mute yourselves, please? There's a lot of disturbance going on. Okay, I'll mute you. So integer A is equals to 10, integer B is equals to 20. And then we're going to say the result is going to store in another variable, C is equals to A plus B. So we have stored one variable to store first number, second variable to store the second number, and then we have C is equals to A plus B, which basically is the sum of these two numbers. Okay. Now let's say I wanted to display it, right? I wanted to know what C is. What is the value of C? So there is a command to do that. System.debug A plus B, sum is C. Now do you know how it is written? Okay, so system.debug. What is system.debug? This is a statement to display something on your debugging screen, on your screen. Okay, how it is done? Anything that you write in single quote, this is a string. I told you already. Anything that you write in single quote is nothing but a string. So whatever you write in single quote will be printed as it is. So if I say this thing will be printed as it is. And anything without single quote, it will try to evaluate it. Okay, it will see, okay, C. Okay, where is C? Where is C? Then it is going to be this. Then it's going to go ahead and find, okay, C is going to be a variable. He's trying to find C as a variable. And then he's going to go and say, okay, A is what? 10, B is what? 20. So what it is, the output of the program would be A plus B, whatever this GGG is, and sum is, and then plus is called a concatenation operator. It's called concatenation, okay? To add two strings or to add two string and a number, etc. This is a plus sign is used to do that, okay? Concatenation operator. It's called, I'll write it for you. It's called concatenation. Okay, this is a plus. Plus is used to do that. So I'll tell you what it is. Now if I go back, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say execute. So it's going to go ahead and execute it for me. These are all the information that comes. You're not interested in all the junk because see, here it tells you everything. What is the execution has started? Okay, variable scope begin. Okay, variables is different. You're only interested in debug only statements. So here you'll say A plus B, GGG, whatever you wrote, sum is 30. Okay, what is 30? 30 is what it is printing, is printing C. So if I go back and I just get rid of this, if I just go ahead and say, if I include the C as well in the expression, what will it print then? Tell me guys. If I do something like this, what will be the output of the program?
It will just print string A plus B, sum is C, that's it.
What will it give you, this A plus B value in place of C?
No.
What do you think, Abhinav? What is going to be, Priyanka? Yeah. It's not going to do that because this is what, this is nothing but this is the string. This is including in a string. If you want it to be evaluated, you first need to put it outside of the string. Okay. Then if I go ahead and execute this one, okay, if you want to execute it, you say debug only, and then it will say, oh, I think I didn't save it, or maybe. No, Abhinav, it's not no operator, not result. Basically, C is it is considering it as a string. Plus is just to add those two things. So let's say, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So let's say the sum A plus B. So it's because this is considering it as a string. So it's going to print as it is what it saw. So let's say if I say open log and execute it. So here if you go to the debug only, see it says A plus B sum is C. So it's just taking it as a string. It's not computing it. So let's say I wanted to display the subtraction of it. So how will I do? I'll say system.debug A minus B is, this is going to print as it is, plus A, if I say I wanted to print B minus A. So what will it do? It will do what is B. It will compute, okay, because you are not writing the B in a single quote, because it's not taking it as a string. It will compute what B is. B is 20, okay, minus, okay, that's a subtract operator. What is A? Okay, A is nothing but 10. So it's going to do B minus 10. That B, so 20 minus 10, so it's going to give you 10. So plus is basically going to add this string with this value, whatever the value is. And if I go ahead and execute, it's going to go ahead and say A minus B is 10. Similarly, if I go ahead and do another operator here, another line here which says system.debug A multiply by B, what's going to do is it's going to say plus, because you wanted to add the string with this thing, A multiply by B. Okay, and if I say system dot of debug, it's going to say A divide by B, and it's going to say plus, we wanted to do this, B divided by A. Got it? So what it's going to display?
Deepika?
Yes, sir.
Here, see, we took three variables A, B, and C. Now A, B are two variables which we are adding, that is C. C is equal to A plus B. Okay. Now A plus B is getting stored in C, right? Yeah. So
A plus B,
for the first
the value of A plus B, what is 10 plus 20? So C is equals to 30.
value of 30. So 30 is getting stored in C, right? And first debug block, what we wrote is just we wrote plus C. So where plus C is nothing but A plus B, the storage of 10 plus 20, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the 30 is getting stored in C.
Yes.
And for the second debug, B minus A, we did use the C. So B minus A, where it is getting stored?
It's not. That's why I saved the variable. This is only just display. So it's not stored anywhere. It is just displaying it right away for you.
Okay.
Okay, that's what it is. So it's not C. This is just to do a computation. Okay, so it's not. This is C is a placeholder. So if I wanted to access B minus A, I need to again use say something like B minus A. There's no variable that I've stored. I can do something like this. I can say C is equals to B minus A. Okay, and then I display C here just to not type anything I said, and then I can say here A multiplied by B, and then instead of A multiplied by B here, then I have to do C. Getting it?
Exactly.
Okay, so just to save the variables and just to not write typo, that's why I said okay, just let me just do directly here. So that's why I did. So B divided by A is just doing whatever is calculating is it's displaying. It's not storing it in a variable or something because we have not created a variable. So we go ahead and execute it. So what will be the output of this program? What will be the output? Guys, write me the output in the message. Okay, give me first two lines. Give me by. Okay, tell me what it is. Type it fast.
Oh, you have included C is equal to B minus A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me the answers of all this program. Very good, very good. Okay, Ravi, make it to me. Make it to like personal to me. I don't want to. Abhinav, give me your answer. A minus B. Abhinav? Okay. Where did you get this line? Should be A minus B product is C. What is that? I got this one, A divided Abhinav.
Abhinav.
Yes, the output of this is going to be straight this line because everything is in string. It's not going to compute it, right? So output is going to be right away this. So let's say I wanted to comment it, so I can say something like this. So comments are nothing but this thing is not going to get evaluated. This is what the comments are for, okay? And then here, this is A minus B is, so the output of this line would be A minus B is, what is the value of C? C is nothing but B minus A. So what is it going to be? It's going to be B minus A 10. So the output is going to be 10 of this line. What is the output for this line? It's going to be A multiplied by B as it is. The string will get printed as it is. And then C would be what? C is equals to A multiplied by B. Now the C has been changed to A multiplied by B. So output is going to be 200. Similarly here, what we just did. Okay, so this is 200. And then here, B, A divided by B, this line is going to print as it is because it's a string. And then here, B divided by A. So that's going to be 2. Okay, so let's say if we are right in this. So if we go ahead and execute it, debug only, A plus B sum is C, which is right. Let me just open the execute anonymous window as well. So A plus B sum is C. This is right. Okay, this output of this line is good. A minus B is 10. Okay, that is also good. And the next one is A multiplied by B. That is 200. That is also good. And then the next one was A divided by B. So how many variables are created in this program? How many variables are created in this program? Tell me 3 or 7 or 8 or 2. These are your options. 3, 7, 8 or 2. How many? What about you, Abhinav?
7. It will be 7.
Why did you say 7? Ravi, how many variables got created here?
1 A, B, C, A minus B.
No. Okay. Wait, hold on. My options. Take a look at my options again.
Okay.
Options are 7, 3, 2 or 8. Seven, 3, 2 or 8. How many options are, which is the right one?
3.
How many variables got created? Variables. Only 3 variables got created because one is A, which is storing this one. Then this is B, which stores 20. C, okay, so what is happening here is the memory diagram looks like this. First, this is the memory diagram. At one block, you have A. This is the name of the block A. It has value 10 in it. There's another block B, which has a value of 20 in it. Then there's another block C. First time it had a value of A plus B. So that became what? That became 30. Then what we did is we went ahead and we changed. We said C is equals to B minus A. Now no more C does not have 30. It has value 10 in it. Then again we said multiply. C is equals to A multiplied by B. Then C will have a value of 200. The other value went away. Then C is going to have, then we said B divided by A. So then it have a value of 2. So finally C has a value of 2. So only 3 variables got created, A, B and C. But the C values was keep changing. First it had 30, then it went to 10, then it went to 200, then it went to 2. So the values of the C is changing, but we only have 3 variables. Got it?